Blog Talk Radio.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the good, the bad, the scandalous of dating a Taurus man. We go through the zodiac, and we go not in like particular order. We kind of go back and forth. This is our third episode of the good, the bad, and the scandalous. And thank you guys for listening and tuning in, to everybody that's listening. We do this show every other Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, 7:30 p.m. Mountain time, 8:30 Central, and 9:30 Eastern time. So this is hosted by myself, April. I also go by Pisces Moon Goddess on all of my social media outlets, including YouTube, and by Apollonia, the astrology lady. That is her name, where you can find her on all of her social media outlets as well. So, and we are part of the Cosmic Council Radio Network, which you are tuned into right now. So, as with every show, I'm going to read our mission statement for the Cosmic Council before we dive into the good, the bad, and the scandalous, all the juicy details of dating a Taurus man. So our mission statement is: the Cosmic Council is dedicated to the teachings of astrological, metaphysical, esoteric, and spiritual knowledge. The members of this council pride themselves on keeping an open-minded approach while spreading love, light, and wisdom in the name of Aquarian unity. We are a group of diverse astrologers, intuitives, metaphysicians, and passionate affiliates. We all come with a broad voice that we are eager to share with the world from a creative, fun, rich, and powerful perspective. Of course, we all have our own flair, spin, and unique way of expressing ourselves creatively. Our goal is to speak to those that are rarely spoken to or for, say the things that are rarely stated, uncover the things that are usually hidden, to bring light. We feel that it is our responsibility as light bearers to provide counsel, insight, and foresight to those seeking who are seeking to know thyself. Like air, we hover over the situation with you to assist you in viewing the bigger picture. Like earth, we help you to dissect the most needed pieces of the puzzle and create practical action steps in order to help you build. Like water, we cleanse, we heal, we quench your thirst. We seek to explore every emotion with you by getting to the root. Like fire, we ignite you by motivating you to take actionable steps for the greater good. We take our duties as a council seriously, and we stand by them diligently. Woo! That was a little long-winded, but we always love to give our mission statement before every show, so everybody understands where we're coming from as astrologers. Like I said, this is called the good, the bad, and the scandalous, so we don't just sit here and attack people, certain signs, and just have it be an attack test or anything like that. We'll show you all sides of the coin, so to speak. So, as you heard, our intro song, it was by Chris Brown, who is a Taurus man. He has a Taurus sun, a Taurus moon, and Venus in Taurus. So, Chris Brown, as you know, he exudes some qualities of Taurus men that are not the most favorable at times. And, we may discuss that a little further during the scandalous part. But anyway, I'd like to welcome my co-host, Apollonia Smith, a.k.a. the astrology lady. Say what's up.
Hey, everybody. How's it going tonight?
All right. So we will be getting into the good, then we'll get into the bad and the scandalous. And we will be taking some calls the last part of the show from any of our listeners that have any experiences that they want to share. So if you have dated a Taurus man and want to share your experiences, please call us. The call-in number is 424-243-9659. Also, if you are a Taurus man and you want to share your experiences or plead your case, feel free to call us at the same number again. Once again, it's 424-243-9659. So I guess we can start with the good traits of Taurus men. Appy, did you want to start out with any list of traits that you had?
Yeah, for sure. And I just wanted to add to definitely If you are a Taurus male and listening, please feel free to call in and, stand up for your zodiac sign, whether it be your sun, moon, or rising, or you may have a stellium. And I just wanted to let the ladies know as well, maybe your man has a Taurus moon, maybe he's a Taurus rising, maybe he has a host of personal planets, meaning 3 or more, or a stellium of planets in the sign of Taurus. So he can exhibit Taurus-like traits if he may be a Leo or he may be a Cancer, but he may exhibit some Taurus-like traits due to his planets that he has in the sign of Taurus. So pay attention to that first off if you pull your man's chart and you notice that there. So whatever show we do, say, for example, if your man may have an Aries stellium, you can catch the replay that we've done for Aries or for Pisces men. And I just wanted to throw that out there first so that people won't only think that they have to listen to this if their man's sun sign is Taurus. So just wanted to give that brief little disclaimer.
Of course. It's very important to look at the whole chart, of course. And also we do have our chat room open. If you go online to our episode today, there is a chat box that's open. You guys are welcome to jump in on the discussions with this there as well. Just wanted to throw that out there. So, App, let's get into what are some of the good traits of dating a Taurus man?
Well, good traits. Well, for starters, I want to say first off that I have dated quite a few Taurus men in my life, and I absolutely love Taurus men. So I'm going to keep it extremely real, but I have seen more of the good in a Taurus man than the bad. I have to say that up front. But I have had a messy breakup, too, with a Taurus man. And so I will share a little bit of that as well. But first off, I want to say that I really enjoy Taurus men. I'm a Capricorn, Pisces, Moon, and Aquarius rising. And I have to say that Taurus men really enjoy me as well. The one part that they probably get annoyed with is my Aquarius rising sign. Sometimes I can be a little bit too aloof for a Taurus man, and Taurus men can be kind of clingy when it comes to their mate, or Taurus in general. But so to start off with some of the good traits from my perspective, right away when I date a Taurus guy, I notice that they are very attentive, and they are very interested in getting to know you as a person and getting to know who you are, the things that you like, the things that you don't like. And to me, that's usually because Taurus men, they can kind of be annoyed with the chore process of dating. Like, dating can kind of be a chore for them. So they're like, okay, let me meet somebody, give them my undivided attention and get to know them, because if they're good to go, I'm like done. I'm off the market. You know, they want to get in, shop for what they want, and take it home and be done forever. Now, of course, you may have met a Taurus guy that was like not like that, or maybe they were a little bit flighty, but they may have had some air in their chart that made them a little bit more aloof or elusive. But anyway, so that's the first thing that I notice about a Taurus man. You will have his undivided attention, and he will really be interested in getting to know you as a person. Second thing, I notice that Taurus men are excellent at whining and dining. They are excellent at doing Venusian-type things to make you happy. So your first date with a Taurus guy will definitely be moderate priced but quality. Like, he will take you to a really nice restaurant that is probably not a chained restaurant. Like, it's like a cool food place that's like tucked away someplace that maybe a lot of people don't know about. Like I had a Taurus guy take me out before to a vegan restaurant that was really, really good. And at first I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to go to a vegan restaurant, thinking about vegan food. And he's like, no, you'll like this place. And if a tourist tells you that the restaurant is good, they usually know what they're talking about because they're foodies. So that's the second thing. So the date will definitely be quality, and it'll be affordable because Taurus men think about stuff like that too. Now, they're really good providers. A Taurus man will really make sure that you are comfortable in his presence. He will make sure that you have everything that you need. Usually he will make sure that all I's are dotted, all T's are crossed, usually so you won't have to get up or go any place, or you won't have to leave his presence. So he'll make sure that you need everything you need is done, and everything you want, all of your little needs are met, so you can just stay there with him and have his undivided attention. Another great thing that I know about, or that I realized about Taurus men, they're really good cooks. They don't mind cooking. It's not a big deal for them. They really enjoy cooking, and they really know their way around the kitchen too. So if you happen to want a man that's a chef, or maybe you're not too good at cooking, you might want to get you a Taurus guy. Another thing, Taurus men to me are very intelligent, very intellectual, very business-minded and business astute. And me being a Capricorn, I can really appreciate that because they don't mind talking Cappy-esque business type stuff with me. Like with a Taurus guy, I can talk about my business goals for hours with them. You can kind of bounce ideas off of them, and they'll never get tired of it, just like you won't. Taurus men seem to like a lot of TV shows that deal with business, or say, for example, I had a Taurus guy who had an 8th house stellium, so he was very into like murder mystery type stuff. That was probably because he was an 8th houser. But we had a show that we really liked called American Greed, and they would talk about all these type of scandals that a lot of con artists had got away with, and they got away with it for a while, and then they would usually get caught. So Taurus men usually gravitate towards stuff like that. Some of them may like a lot of gangster flicks and stuff like that. Like I know a movie we would watch together was Goodfellas, and we would like laugh our heads off about that. And so yeah, they may like stuff like that. Organized crime, because Taurus really gravitates towards money and having a plethora of money. And if it's something where they can keep their hands clean and get away with it, a Taurus man is definitely going to gravitate towards that. Okay, another good trait. These men, for some women, this may be considered good, and I'll pass the mic to you, April, after I say this. Some women perceive them as rushing, but a Taurus man will really be eager to lock you down, per se. He usually states his intentions early on, and he's usually very serious about that. So if he tells you that he wants to be with you and he seems sincere, then that's most likely true. So that is a good thing that I notice about them, and other women may like in them as well, is that they state their intentions and they mean that shit. So usually a Taurus person, their word is bond, especially with the Taurus man, and you're his woman. His word is bond. Like, you can literally take that shit to the bank and cash it. No pun intended, man. That Taurus is a money sign.
Yeah, we're definitely about that money. I can attest to that. I'm not a Taurus man, obviously, but I'm a woman that has four personal planets in Taurus. Every personal planet except for the moon is in Taurus that I have. Well, I don't have any personal experiences with dating Taurus men, and I know that's actually kind of surprising to me because my rising sign is Scorpio, and usually what's in your seventh house or your opposite sign is like what you're most attracted to and what you may tend to attract to you as far as dating. I've never dated a Taurus man, though. It's very strange. I've come close to it before, but we were way too young, young and stubborn. And, yeah, that's part of the bad traits that we'll get into in a little bit. But as far as the good traits, wow, Affy, you nailed it. Like I said, I don't have any I like to list things that are like I actually have felt those experiences to be able to speak about them, not just textbook stuff. But yeah, Taurus men, they're ruled by Venus. So Venus rules our five senses. So yes, Taurus men are very sensual, and that doesn't mean just like, ooh, they like to get down in the in the sack. It means they are in touch with all the five senses. So Taurus men, they tend to when they're vibrating on the positive Taurus energy, they tend to like to smell good. And, I love that as a Taurus woman. When they wear cologne. They always make sure they smell good. They will make sure their house smells good. They make sure you're comfortable. Taurus is all about comfort, and the five senses play into that. They are into touch. So they know that whereas, Scorpio rules like the genitalia, and a lot of people can see the act as only being inclusive of that area of the body. Taurus is on the opposite end of the spectrum, and these men will maybe include the whole entire body as an experience when it comes to sharing intimate moments with them. Not just bang, 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 okay, let's go, At least this is what I get from, studying. I mean, maybe App can tell me she has some actual experience.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, thanks for that confirmation. So, they're very attentive. Like Apollonia said, I'll just reiterate on that. Taurus energy does pay attention to a person as a person. We're very earthy, very grounded. We're all about the practical world and the human experience. How the human experience is experienced. I don't know why I'm so lost for words right now, but is through Taurus. When you go through the zodiac wheel, Aries is the newborn baby. It doesn't know anything yet. And then Taurus is the stage of when you're discovering, like, oh, I have hands, I have feet, and they actually do things, and I feel, and I smell this, and I taste this, So when it comes to food and stuff, yes, Taurus men will really, really be into the taste and the texture and the smell of food, not just like shoveling things down just because. It's like, no, like it's everything is an experience to Taurus, okay, for the five senses. That makes them so attentive when it comes to being in relationships. And, yeah, they can appreciate stuff like, like, of course, you said that 8th house stellium Taurus that you had, like mobster movies. Taurus energy is one of those signs that like the quote-unquote Netflix and chill type of night. So if you want somebody that's not needing to always be out and about, so social and, talking to this person, talking to that person, here, over there, unless they were a Taurus born with some planets in Gemini in their chart, that's a different story. But just isolating Taurus, they're all about just comfort and the one-on-one experience of being in a relationship because they are Venus ruled. So, yeah, that means, they're really into the experience of being into you and into, the environment that you guys are in. And they can do that one-on-one thing a lot better than some other signs. So that's pretty much what I had on the good traits of Taurus men.
And I just wanted to add that's true about them enjoying every aspect of food. Taurus men are also very good massagers. Like You won't have an issue if you tell your Taurus man, like, oh, babe, can you rub my feet, or could you rub my shoulders? They are very into that, and they won't, like, rush through it either. They will really take their time with that, being your personal masseuse, kind of. And it was something else you touched on, and I wanted to add, and I can't think of what it is.
No
it'll
pun
come
intended.
to me, I guess. But yeah, Taurus guys, they really have that down pat with the sensual and passion, and it's really amazing how attentive they are, and little nuances about you, they will be paying attention to that too, and you're like, wow, I didn't even think he was paying attention to that. But yeah, I can't rave enough about Taurus men. I love them. Oh my gosh, I love them.
And another thing is, and I know this is something you're gonna like me, mentioning, is Taurus rules the voice. Okay, and so a lot of Taurus men are said to have very nice voices. People say that about Taurus women too, but, since it rules the throat area, which of course houses the voice, they have very nice voices. Sometimes Taurus is one of those signs that can have those deep, really nice masculine voices. Would you agree or disagree, Affy?
Very much so. Very bassy. Like, okay, so think about those guys who they find to host the fucking Quiet Storm part of radio stations. The guys who always have the Quiet Storm voices that, like, make all the women melt.
You're talking about the guys that
they have those kind of voices.
Yes.
Yeah, those kind of voices. Quiet Storm, that's all you have to think about, and a Taurus man will usually have a voice like that, unless he has, like, for example, I had dated a Taurus guy once before, and he had a Libra rising. Oh my God, it just totally distorted all of the good Taurus stuff that he was supposed to have. So if the man is an air rising sign, be mindful of that, because then his voice might be a little pitchy or something like that. But, yeah, nothing. I could probably go on all day about good, amazing traits that Taurus men have, and I still haven't thought of what else it was that I wanted to say about them. Oh, my gosh. Taurus men are really good. Oh, yeah, they are definitely homebodies. So if you're the type of female that wants a guy that is a homebody, or, like, isn't into running the streets and stuff like that, definitely Taurus men, because they are totally cool with just, like, as long as you're at home, he's cool with being at home. He's totally fine with that. And that was an issue that I had when I dated Taurus guys. Me being an Aquarius rising, sometimes I just want to dart off by myself and not really explain my whereabouts. And that makes the Taurus man very nervous. Like, he wants to know where you're going and why aren't you telling him where you're going. So you will have to be mindful of that, but they are homebodies, and they are totally into, let's cook dinner and just chill in the house, just you and I, and watch some good stuff on TV, or just have some amazing conversation. I know when I've dated Taurus men, it's been times where we would lay together and read, and after like an hour or two of reading, we would like explain to each other what we had read, and the silence is never uncomfortable to me with a Taurus guy. The silence isn't uncomfortable or anything. We're just, comfortable in each other's space, where we can sit and talk for hours and not have the TV on, or we can listen to music together. So that's a rarity. To me, Taurus guys are really a rarity, and a lot of times they will hide some of those awesome traits about themselves because it's kind of like they're old-fashioned. They're very old-fashioned, traditional kind of people in a sense, and 2017 doesn't always match with the type of person that a Taurus man is. If that makes sense.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that because the world moves so quickly, especially if you're like in a westernized part of the world, like mainly the U.S. The U.S. is very Gemini, very quick moving, and things change rapidly. And what was cool, and the end thing to do 1 minute, like 30 seconds later, it's like, oh, no, that's old, and Taurus can tend to be thrown off by that. Like, what? I thought it was okay to do this. Yeah, and then it's just the world is so fast-paced, and Taurus is very slow because, like I said, everything in life is an experience for Tauruses. Every move that we make is an experience. It's not just like, fast food, come on, it's like, no, slow home-cooked meal is the way of the Taurian. So, yeah.
That is very true. And Taurus men are very slow and very methodical. They move at their own pace. I have a story to share about that stuff when we get to it. But, don't think you're going to rush him because they're very slow-moving and methodical. And so be mindful of that.
Yeah. Definitely. That can be if you are, say, an earth sign woman or earth sign dominant woman or a water sign dominant woman, you're probably more than likely going to get along better and have a better dating experience with Taurus men than, say, fire or air dominant because of the fact that Taurus men, they don't normally move that quickly. And, fire and air, they just want to whiz and burn right through life, like that, like the snap of a finger. And they may get frustrated with the Taurus man because of the fact that, they don't just jump and fly. They're like, hold on, what are we doing? Let me absorb and process everything. And they're like, oh my God, you're so slow. So we'll get into more of that when we talk about the bad side. Let me see, how much time do we have left? We have an hour left. We only have one caller so far that's been holding, and we will definitely get to you, so please stay hanging on. We want to hear your experience. But, anybody else that has any experiences, please call us, 424-243-9659, or hop in our chat room online. We can take a short intermission before we get into the bad and the scandalous. So let's take like a 2 to 3 minute intermission. We're going to play another very, very nice Taurus. Let's see if you guys remember him. Why were you creeping out late last night? But I see two shadows moving in your bedroom. Now you're dressed in black, but I left you dressed in white. Can you feel me? Hey, what's up, guys? So that was our intermission song by Craig David. If you guys remember him, he's also a Taurus man. Wonder whatever happened to him. He has some really good songs.
One of my favorites.
His album was, his album was so good. I don't recall him coming out with a second one, or maybe it just didn't make it. I don't know, but anyhow, beautiful.
Well, I stalk him on Instagram.
Of course.
I stalk him on Instagram, and supposedly he's more so into producing now and DJing from what I see.
Oh, okay. Well, good for him. He's still in the industry, just not singing, but his voice was beautiful, so he should still be singing, our opinions.
Definitely.
A few other famous Taurus men that I'm going to list. Then we'll get into the bad and the scandalous traits. Let's see. Ralph Tresvant. Actually, if we have time to play an outro song, I may play one of his. He's got that beautiful Taurus voice. And also Donald Glover, a.k.a. Childish Gambino. He has a Taurus moon. Also, there's a newer rapper out named Cap G. and he has a Taurus moon. When I saw a video footage of him, I was like, this dude is Taurus somewhere with that voice and how he talks. Like,
G is his name?
Yeah, K-A-P, Cap G. He's like a young dude out of, like, Atlanta. I've only heard a little bit of his music, but I've seen, like, so many interviews with him pop up in my YouTube feed, especially, like, Vlad TV. And I listen to his voice, and I'm like, oh, he has a Taurus voice, and he talks, like, slow, like a Taurus. And sure enough, yeah, he has a Taurus moon. Also, Channing Tatum is a Taurus. He's one of my favorites. Yes, and, you know, Taurus is one of the energies that is very in touch with music and dance, so it's very apparent there. David Beckham, The Rock, George Clooney, Mark Zuckerberg, who's all about that money. He created Facebook. Robert Pattinson, the dude that played on, what's that vampire movie everybody was nuts about? Why can't I think of the name? Twilight. The Twilight dude.
Twilight.
Yeah, he's a Taurus. Al Pacino's a Taurus. And then leading us into the not so great traits of Taurus men. James Brown was a Taurus, although he had some good and some dark traits. And Hitler was a Taurus. Now, getting into the bad. The not so great traits of Taurus men. I'll start out with this one, with these. And, you know, I can kind of speak personally about my own dark side, even though, like I said, I'm not a Taurus man. I'm a Taurus woman. I have, like, mad planets in Taurus, so much Taurus. So a lot of this applies to men, too. But what I hear as a complaint the most when it comes to Taurus men or Taurus in general is being too stagnant and being unwilling to try new things, kind of staying stuck in the same spot when it comes to anything in life because of the fact that Taurus is so much about comfort because they're Venus ruled. So once they get comfortable in a spot, they don't want to move, and their symbol is the bull. And, you know, you see people all the time, like, they try to push a bull and move them, and they will dig their hooves in the ground like, nope, you're not moving me anywhere. That's exactly how a Taurus man can act. So they're very stubborn. They're very my way or the highway. Things have to be on their terms a lot of times for things because they're so fixed. They're a fixed sign, very fixed energy. I've heard complaints about Taurus men being very stingy with their material items and their money. Although when they're in love, they can be very generous when it comes to giving gifts and stuff. But Taurus is one of those signs where the men may come off as being quote-unquote cheap because they are frugal. If they're all about saving their money and stashing it away, if they have an agenda for their money, they're going to say, no, I'm broke, and no, we can't go to that fancy restaurant. Maybe I might take you to McDonald's. You just better enjoy yourself, enjoy the experience of McDonald's, girl, because I am here, I'm giving you my company, and it's not about how much I'm spending right now because I have goals with my money. So some women may appreciate that. Like I said, maybe a fellow earth or a water sign woman, but fire and air is more adventurous. It's going to be like, this mother, he is boring and cheap. Like, no, please step that way. I compare that trait in the Taurus men. I compare it to such characters as Big Perm in the movie Friday, because playing with the Taurus man's money is like playing with their emotions. They're very attached to their money. And also Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob. He is definitely a Taurus. Me money, me money. He's desperately hanging on to that stuff. So therefore, he may not always be willing to let it go, to be adventurous sometimes, to explore new places, to go on like vacations where you just really full on out enjoy yourself. He may be the type to be like, okay, we have an agenda. We're going to go here, we're going to go there, and we're only going to spend this much, like vacationing on a budget.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a more adventurous woman and you want to just fully enjoy the experience of being on a vacation, your Taurus man, he's a little stingy with his money, it's like you're going to be like, we might as well not even go. Like, why are we even here? It's like, we're here, but what can we do? You know, we can't really, really have a good time. They are slow to move or react, which we did mention previously, to where some women may appreciate that. And some women may not, you know, they may view them as like, dude, why don't you just do it? Like, just get up and do. You know what I mean? Why do you have to be so calculating with everything? Why do you have to contemplate things? Because once again, they're ruled by Venus. Venus is about weighing out the pros and cons of your options, you know. Venus also rules Libra, so that's kind of a trait that Taurus and Libra can kind of share sometimes. It's like, well, do I or don't I? You know, but once the Taurus makes up their mind, they're not going to go flip-flopping back and forth like a Libra might. They're going to be full speed ahead. Actually, not full speed. They're going to be at turtle speed ahead. Correction. But they will stick to what they say. And if you are a woman that likes a man that has diversity, flexibility, a Taurus man is not going to be for you because, like Apollonia mentioned earlier, their word is bond, and that can be a good thing when it comes to reliability on a Taurus man. However, if you need them to bend a little bit because something changed, you know, the direction of the wind is now blowing a different way, they're still going to be standing there like they've been all along, and they're not going to bend. You know, they're not going to be flexible to move along with the tides changing, the situation changing. So therefore, women say that they can be too boring and stagnant. And lastly, actually right before the show, one of my closest girlfriends, shout out to Amanda, she stopped by. We were talking about dating, and she has dated a Taurus man. She gave me an experience to share on air and it is not only that friend, but also two other girlfriends have told me about their experiences with Taurus men, like physically, and said that, you know, they're just kind of like the missionary type of dudes. You know what I'm saying? Wink, wink, wink. You know what I'm saying? They will stick with that and be stuck there and be routine. And if you, like I said, once again, say you're a Venus and Gemini, or you've got a lot of fire in your chart, you want a man to just throw you around and flip you around and go, you know, out in the wild or you know, behind a building or something. Taurus man isn't going to be down with that. They're going to be like, why can't we be at home in the bed? Why can't we just do missionary? Like, get out of my face, woman. Like, come on, you know, it's my way or the highway. Missionary it is. So that's all the bad traits that I have to share on Taurus men. So I am passing the mic to App.
So the bad. Well, first I'd like to say I haven't had to deal with the missionary only thing with Taurus guys before. So
lucky day.
I would hate. Yeah, lucky day. I hate that. But they are. You said something else. I should have wrote it down. But Taurus men are definitely stubborn. That's it. That's what I wanted to say. They're definitely stubborn, and you would definitely have to, if you want them to change their mind, you need to come to them with the pros and the cons list. Like, show them all the pros of why they should change their mind. It's like you have to, it's this great debate standoff to convince them to do something differently. Now, be mindful. If they choose to do it differently and something fucks up, he's going to play the blame game, hands down. I noticed this with one of my Taurus exes. I'm more optimistic. So me having a Sag stellium, I have ninth house energy. I'm just way more optimistic. So I would say, oh, well, you should do such and such. Let's try it this way. For me, that shit might have worked out, but for him with the Taurus stellium, that shit didn't work out, and now he's pissy with me because I convinced him to change his mind, and I should have just did what I thought the first time. You know, you will get that backlash from them. If you convince them to change their mind and the plan fucks up, it's all your fault. And he's going to let you know that it's all your fault, and he's never going to try your plan ever again type of thing. So, yeah, with the stubborn stuff, that can be very annoying, which is why it would be really awesome if he had some third house energy popping off or some ninth house energy popping off, that would be really awesome, because then maybe that'll give him a little bit more flexibility. Second thing, they are slow as fuck. They move way too slow for me. And the best way to explain their slowness in my comparison, because I have two toddlers, so you know when you have two toddlers and they walk in front of you and you're like, oh my God, just hurry up and move. That's the annoying factor with a Taurus guy. So, and mind you, both of my babies have Taurus moons, so they're extra slow. Extra slow. But in the past, a Taurus guy that I dated, one day, his car was down. His car was in the shop. So that particular week, I was supposed to take him to work. I was actually going to take him to the train or something, and he was going to catch the subway to work or whatever. So we dropped his car off like that Friday, and this was Monday. His car wasn't going to be ready till like Tuesday evening. So that morning, oh my God, he moved so fucking slow, and he made me late. I was pissed off. And I was like, I couldn't believe how slow he was moving, to the point that I thought he was pranking me or playing a joke or something. Like, why are you moving this slow? Does it really take you this long to get ready? You're a man. Like, come the fuck on. Just throw your shit on and let's go. And I was annoyed the entire drive to the subway station. And Taurus men, and probably Taurus people in general, they don't like when you're mad with them. So when he finally got to the train later that morning, he texted me, was like, you really hurt my feelings. You didn't have to treat me like that. I'm not used to anyone taking me to the train, so I'm still moving on my own pace. I'm still moving at my own pace, you know. You could have been a little bit more considerate. And, yeah, Taurus people are fixed signs, so if they are used to an hour and a half to get ready every morning, damn it, they want every minute of their hour and a half, because that's what they're used to. That's what they're accustomed to. Don't shortchange them when it comes to their time. Third bad trait, or the bad part of dealing with the Taurus man, they are critical about time. This segues into them and their time. So if you have a date scheduled with them at fucking 4 p.m., you better be there at 4 p.m. because you're going to catch shit if you're not. They always want to know what time shit is going to take place. That's their first question. What time? What time? What time? Probably because that helps them structure their slow-ass schedule a bit better when they know what time everything is going to take place. And dealing with a Taurus stellium person, he was very precise about time, and he would get really bitchy and moody when I wasn't on time. Another bad trait about Taurus men, they can be very clingy. They can tend to want to keep tabs on their woman. Where are you going? How long are you going to be? Can I go too? I used to get that a lot. Well, can I go? And I was like, why do you always want to fucking go and do everything I want to do? You don't want to do anything by yourself? But when a Taurus is in that state of mind that they're in a partnership, you're kind of like a possession of theirs. And Taurus energy and Taurus men, they take pride in ownership. Like, they take a lot of pride in having someone to call their own or something to call their own. So they take pride in that shit, and once you're their woman, it's like they want to be where you are. They want to see what you see. They want to do what you do. So it's hard for them to separate sometimes that you are a person with your own feelings, your own thoughts, your own dreams. It's kind of hard for them to separate that because in their mind, you should incorporate them into that. So if you are a woman that has air energy or fire energy, and sometimes you just want to dart off and do your own thing, you may catch some flack or resistance from a Taurus man. Now, when it comes to the whole cheap and frugal thing, I have never personally dated a cheap Taurus. I would have to say a Taurus guy has pulled out a coupon with me. But I must admit, if we were new, like if that was like the first couple months of dating or some shit, I probably would have took that personally. Like, I know this bitch did not pull out a fucking coupon. Like, I would have probably got annoyed by that. But after you've been with a person for some time, you'd be like, shit, high five, babe. I'm glad you clipped that fucking coupon shit. We got some % off. So
right.
If you're a Taurus guy and you're listening, don't just throw all that frugal shit out right away. You know, like, persuade her with that Venusian stuff, and then once you are comfortable with her and you've been with her a while, then kind of like sprinkle that frugal shit. And see, this is the thing I like about Taurus guys. A Taurus man prefers quality over quantity. So a Taurus guy may be frugal, but he might go to fucking IKEA and shop in the clearance section opposed to going to Dollar Tree. Like a Gemini guy is just cheap, or a Virgo guy is just cheap, you know. Let me just get the generic, you know. But a Taurus guy, he will get the best of what's on sale. Like he doesn't do cheap shit, you know. He has good taste, very good standards, but he wants a bargain. Put it that way. He wants good shit for a bargain. And that's the part that I like about Taurus men. They're not going to have cheap, rinky-dink shit all around. They're going to have good quality stuff. Now, another bad trait about that with the money, if his money is fucked up or his money is low, you will see a Taurus mood swing. If his money is not looking, term. If his money is not looking to where he wants it to be, you may as well cut out his sex drive. You may as well cut out any funny talk. Like, don't joke with him. Like, he's in his head trying to figure out. He's like in his head doing a fucking calculator thing, like a 10 key in his fucking mind, trying to figure out how to get this money straight and when this is going to come in, when this is going to come in, and that's just how they operate. When Taurus exes I've dated, when their money was fucked up, sometimes I didn't even want to be around them. Like, let me just move around, and I'll holler at you later, because I don't want to be bothered with your attitude and your mood swing because your money is low right now. And sometimes I have my little issues, too, because I'm a Cappy, but I'm a Sag stellium, so I'm a little bit more optimistic when it comes to cash. When I get into my little rut, I get into it, but it doesn't stay as long as a Taurus person's may stay. Now, I'm trying to think, is that all the bad stuff before we get into the scandalous?
I think for the scandalous,
I think that's enough of the bad.
A little bit. Yeah, scandalous we should touch on a little bit, and then we should definitely take some calls. We've had like a few people holding. We see you.
Okay,
Thanks for holding on. But when you were talking about Taurus men seeing a woman as their material possession, oh yes, I can totally agree with that and see that. And I don't know if anybody is old enough to remember the movie Class Act with Kid and Play from like the early 90s. It's not the house party movie, it's the other movie they did. I love that movie so much. I'm so old school. I quote it all the time. But what was the guy's name? The villain guy. He ended up always getting beat up towards the end. But
he was obsessed with that girl. I
Yeah,
can't think of his name. I'm going to have to Google it.
I can't think of his name. Yes, but like, you know, it's so funny because when Kid's character was talking to Demeter, he walked up to him and was like, I told you, stay away from my shit. And she is my shit. I'm like,
that's him.
Taurus, is he a Taurus somewhere? Because to refer to his woman like that's one of his things, his material possession. I'm like, that is Taurus all day.
Taurus all day. You were right.
Yeah, because as a Taurus female, I get possessive like that in my relationships. I will admit, and I recite that line in my head all the time. If a chick is trying to talk to my man, I'm like, stay away from my shit. He is
very,
so
very true. Mhm.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny about that? The Taurus guy that I dated, he had 2 male roommates, and he would always tell me how his Libra Cancer male roommate was such a hoe, and he had slept with the other roommate's ex-girlfriend, like he's a hoe. So one day I came over before he was home, and the roommate opened the door for me, and I texted him, and I was like, I'm here. He had, like, the downstairs. His mother was a realtor, so this was a huge-ass house. So they kind of had, like, their own quarters. But anyway, he had the whole bottom half of the house, and I was like, I'm here whenever you get here. Oh, my God. He flew back, and he was like, don't talk to Bleep Bleep. I don't want to blast his name. Don't talk to him. Don't let him into that room. I'm like, do you think he's just going to walk in here and in 5 minutes my fucking clothes are going to fly off and I'm going to fuck with him like that? No. But in a Taurus's mind, that can happen. Like, in a Taurus's mind, if they leave their spouse around a hoe, anything could go down. That's what they're thinking.
Yes. I wouldn't doubt that at all. Somebody will steal his shit, and he will be so upset. Like somebody stole money from him. They stole his woman. That's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So yeah, scandalous stuff. I don't know.
Scandalous things.
I mean, I guess
did you have any scandalous stories?
Maybe just not anything personally. I mean, like I said, the only personal dating story I have with the Taurus is we were really young. We really liked each other, but we never dated only because we were both so stubborn and stagnant. It was like, I really like you, I like you too, and then it just stopped right there. And then we would wonder, like, well, what's up with you? We would ask our friends, like, what's up with so-and-so? What's up with so-and-so? It's like, why don't we never got together because we were just so slow, stagnant, and stubborn. So it never happened. Mm-hmm. I don't really have any scandalous stories. I was just going to talk about Chris Brown. And, Taurus is known for usually being slow to anger. And once they do anger, they're a bull in a china shop. And I do feel like he kind of displays that. But I think he also has Mars in Cancer. And I know we spoke with Reese, our colleague from the Cosmic Council, Reese, about this the other day, about how Mars in Cancer can sometimes be, like, really violent because...
especially prone to domestic violence, Mars in Cancer people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they only act, because Mars is your action, they act upon their emotions strictly, and so their emotions take over them, and they just act, So... But yeah, Chris Brown, he's always in the news. I'm sure everybody knows all about him and his scandals and, attacking people. But I think sometimes people actually poke the bull purposely to get him to react, and then they can, like, videotape it and stuff. I think that's happened to him a few times in my personal opinion. But other than that, I know he's fully responsible for some of the other times of him wilding out like a bull in a china shop, attacking people. But, I don't really have any personal scandals to share. I don't know if you do, and then do you?
Well, scandalous, I would have to say the two scandalous traits that a Taurus guy may have is that he may have a tendency to make you feel like a sexual object at times. You're just there to get his rocks off, per se. He may have a tendency to make you feel like that. A Taurus guy also, one thing that I experienced, they are all about material and possessions, so they will attempt to hurt you by throwing your things away. Because a Taurus is very bothered by someone throwing their items away. So if you're like dead to them or they want to hurt you, they will throw your belongings away like you're nobody. They'll throw personal things away. Mm-hmm.
Or they will destroy them. They will destroy them in front of you, not just throw it in the trash. Like, see this phone? You love this phone? Bam!
Yeah. Exactly. They will definitely do that. And some people say, some women have said, I've never experienced this, but some women will say that Taurus men are very crude, like when it comes to doing nasty stuff like farting and belching, having stinking feet or like stink breath. Those are things that I've heard from other women who have dated Taurus men in the past, but I've never experienced any of those things, like with him being like dirty or nasty or anything like that. So, but that's that
dark-sided. That's that dark-sided stuff. Go watch our colleague Rabina Rastaban. Go watch her dark-sided Taurus man video. She'll tell you all about that.
Like I have heard. And Rabina talks about that, where a Taurus man's breath is stink. And I've heard a lot of women say, oh, why do Taurus men's breath always stink? But I have never experienced a Taurus guy whose breath was stink. Just FYI. I haven't, but I hear that from numerous women. But those are probably the only two really scandalous things that I have to say about them, as them using you as a sexual object. Like, say, for instance, if you haven't been around your Taurus guy for a while and he finally sees you, like, sex is the objective. It's like he's kind of stone-eyed until he gets his rocks off, and then it's like, oh, okay, I'm back to normal now. Like a Taurus person a Taurus man will need sex for his sanity, kind of. That's what I get from them. Like, if they aren't having that intimate connection, and you know Venus can rule intimacy, if they aren't having that intimate connection, it can kind of make them batshit crazy. And until they get that taken care of, they can't, like, snap back into shape, which is why sometimes Taurus men or Taurus people, even, I don't know, but Taurus men can have, like, masturbating issues because they need that intimacy. They need that release. But even masturbation doesn't do it, because he wants that skin to skin. He wants that human to human contact. So that's where the whole making you feel like a sex object comes into play, because you need to, you know, nick that craving for him, and then we can move forward, kind of thing.
The last thing I'm going to say before we take a call is one way to really piss off a Taurus man is if you push them to do stuff and you try to rush them. I think you may have covered like a little story to do with that. Do not rush a Taurus man. Don't make them feel pressured, overly pressured, or they will get frustrated with you, and they will just they'll just want to say F it altogether to whatever the plan or the idea was, because they are just into moving at their own pace, in their own zone, at their own time. And yeah, I will confirm with you, App, earlier you mentioned that Taurus men, you know, if they want to know what time something is at, because they want to know if they can take their sweet time to get ready to go somewhere or do whatever's on their own agenda before they, join in on whatever everybody else is doing. They just really like to take their time. So just keep that in mind if you're interested in dating a Taurus man. All right, so next caller, 757-541. You're on the air with the good, the bad, the scandalous.
Hey, ladies.
Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm doing great. I love y'all show. I listen in all the time. And I'm a Cancer girl, and I'm a Scorpio ascendant, so I love Taurus men, and Taurus men are, like, attracted to me. Like, I get a lot of Taurus men, so they always sing, they always smell good, they have really nice teeth for me. Like, that's my experience. They're really cool, very neutral. The only thing that bothers me about Taurus men is that they are so slow. I can't. It just makes my heart hurt. I can't take it. They are super slow. They just move at a snail pace. I can't take it. And they also I'm a Mars and Gemini, so I'm like quick, fast, like let's go, let's do this. They take their time. And they're boring. Like they don't want to talk about anything. They're just so neutral and so cool. Like you ask them for their opinion. They're like, I don't have an opinion. Like, what do you mean you don't have an opinion? You don't think about anything? No, I just don't. They're just really stubborn. But if you have an opinion that differs from theirs, something's wrong with you. I don't know why they do that. That's just my experience. But they're stubborn, they're boring, they're slow. But for the most part, I like Tauruses. They spend on me, they spend a lot on me, and I ain't got no problem with that. No complaints in that area. But, but other than that, that's the only thing. Like, they're just boring, slow, and stubborn, and don't know how to have a conversation sometimes. It's hard for them to talk for me. I just think it's just a little weird. So that's all I got to say.
Well, I wanted to add on that really quickly. Now, Taurus men are fixed signs, so they can be very fixed when it comes to their opinions and their way of thinking. So it is hard to find an open-minded Taurus, but when you do, they're golden. Like, you can talk to them about everything. For number two, Tauruses love Cancers. It's like a Taurus can smell a Cancer a mile away. So Taurus men Cancer women are probably a Capricorn's biggest competition when it comes to a Taurus guy. But, yeah, I really like that about them. Now, the part you said where he doesn't talk or, like, doesn't say anything, it usually takes a Taurus guy a minute to get comfortable with you to fully express all of his opinions, or if he feels like you aren't going to vibe with what he has to say, then he just won't share it all, because a Taurus doesn't like to be judged either. I wanted to throw that out there. And most likely it's your Gemini that's probably turning a Taurus man off.
I've heard that before, too.
You say you have a Gemini moon?
Oh, Gemini Mars.
Oh, Gemini Mars. Oh, okay.
Oh.
And you're a Cancer sun, Scorpio rising, and what's your moon?
Libra moon.
Oh, that's what's turning him off. That's why you aren't fully being able to engulf with a Taurus man. Taurus and Libras, very rarely. Like a Taurus is going to be too slow for a Libra, because a Libra can wake up today and say, oh, let's go do this. Oh, let's go do that. And a Taurus is like, what the fuck? We didn't plan for that shit. Like, it's not going to happen at all. So, yeah, you're probably going to need a Taurus man that has an air or fire moon. And then you can get some balance popping off, because then he'll kind of be sporadic with you. Like, I have a Libra sister, and she has a Taurus moon. Some days, like weeks, she can go for weeks being a homebody, like totally immersing herself in her Taurus moon. And the next thing you know, she's like, I want to go get my nipples pierced today. That's that Libra shit, just out of the blue. Or I'm going to go get a tattoo today. And the new thing she's on is, I'm going to go get my tongue pierced this weekend. So, that Libra needs something to pop to kind of break her out of that Taurus moon that she lives in. So yeah, but I hopefully you find the Taurus that you enjoy someday soon.
Yeah, I love Tauruses. I was on your show like a few weeks ago, and I remember, I think when Dina told me, like, I would need, like, a Cap or a Taurus. I don't like Capricorns. My biggest issue in my chart is with Capricorns, but I attract them too. But the earth signs are my favorite because I need to chill. Like, with my Scorpio, I got Pluto in the first house. Like, I have no chill, and they kind of ground me. So, so it makes me feel good. But maybe they're out there. They might be listening. I don't know. But Tauruses, they're good in my book for the most part.
Well, we have something special coming soon for you if you're still single, so stay tuned.
Ooh, okay, got you.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Oh, I'm Kendra.
Kendra? Oh, okay.
Oh, Kendra,
okay.
I remember you.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling in tonight, Kendra. Thanks for listening and contributing. So,
thank you.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk to you in a future show.
Sure thing, I'll be here.
Oops, I cut her off. My bad. Okay. Thanks, though, Kendra. All right, so next caller, we got about less than 15 minutes left. So 336-212-3898. Are you there? Hello. The good, the bad, and the scandalous. Okay, never mind. All right. Hey, if you decide to hop back on 336, let me know in the chat. Okay, so last caller, area code 615-615-856. You're on the air with the Cosmic Council. Hello.
Hello, is this April?
Yes.
Yes, this is Edwin Leonard. How are you doing?
Edwin, what's up? How are you?
Yeah, I figured it technically may apply to me having Taurus rising, so I hope I'm still qualified and meet the criteria.
Yes, you qualify.
Hey, I wanted to say the thing that I think I can kind of show something. If you want to call it scandalous, a negative side, very strong negative side with Taurus, I think. Okay, you know what Taurus is about, of course. You know that they're very patient with people and things, but when they reach their point of endurance, that's pretty much it. And what happened was,
right.
I was in a situation where you say I was dating somebody, right, dating this woman, and she was on and off, just unprovoked abrasiveness, pointing out things in my home, which, of course, I didn't like being a Cancer sun. I didn't feel it was necessary. And then one time I called her because she was avoiding my calls, for a while. So I called her early in the morning one time, and I said, you're avoiding my calls. What's going on? Why don't you just answer me? And she hung up and said, I'll talk to you later, and then hangs up on me. And basically, that was the straw that broke the camel's back for, my Taurus rising. I had about all I could take, and I basically cut her off at that point after accepting certain things for a good amount of time. And I think that's the thing. Taurus can, on the negative side, can really, dark side, of course, is really taking a long time to forgive and forget, I think. They're not really necessarily vindictive, but I think when you push them to the point of their endurance, they could cut you off in a heartbeat, I think. Once they've reached that limit, that's it.
Yeah.
It's like no turning back. So I just wanted to share that. I figured that kind of talks about something as far as a negative manifestation or expression of the sign to some degree, and that basically is what happened. And I finally, it was all I could take. I said, enough's enough, and there was no turning back. She tried emailing me, and I wrote her back. I said, yeah, you obviously didn't understand what I said previously.
Oh,
said,
that's very Taurian. A Taurus will hit you back just to let you know they're still pissed off and nothing's changed.
Yep.
And have a nice day.
Exactly. That is it. That pretty much sums it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true. And it's kind of like our opposite sign, Scorpio. We kind of have that in common, but Scorpio will be like completely you're dead. A Taurus might, just like you said, be like, hi, nothing has changed. I am stubborn, and my heels are still in the ground. Thank you, goodbye.
Yep.
Right. It's more in a very calm, placid manner when they cut someone up with Scorpio. You could see a little more of that emotional intensity, and they kind of let you know, even sometimes in their tone and what they're saying, that they're really irritated, I think. It's more in how they say it. And Scorpio could have a little bit more of that vindictiveness, I think, connected with it as well. Mm-hmm. Or Taurus could just basically say, okay, that's it, enough's enough, goodbye. And might not necessarily do anything as far as anything retaliatory. I think Scorpio could be a little more retaliatory is the difference, too, in that.
Mm-hmm. Very good point. Very good point. Now, since you're a gentleman, Edwin, could you, from a male perspective, tell us why Taurus men go back to exes often?
Oh, yeah, because it's the unwillingness to extricate themselves completely from the situation. I mean, it's almost like they're saying, I can't let go. Taurus, I think the quickest way to look at this, the simplest way, is that Taurus just has such a difficult time detaching themselves from something, because Taurus is very habitual. They're a creature of habit, and they're, as they're about constancy. And when something that they were connected with, something they were very persistent with for a long time, is cut off, it's so devastating to them, because they had it for so long. And Taurus, as you know, is very hard dealing with any major transition or change, and I think that's what a lot of that has to do with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are...
It's really basically the inability to let things go. It's really just, that's what it is. I think being Taurus rising, I think that's really what a lot of that's about.
Mhm.
Yeah, going back to what's comfortable, what's familiar.
Right, it's about they don't necessarily want to detach themselves from what was familiar to them. That's definitely a good point, I think. Taurus, I mean, of course, being a fixed sign, they have such a strong aversion to change. I mean, and I think it's probably out of the four signs, I know fixed is fixed, but given the fact that Taurus is an earth sign and fixed, I would say it's the most fixed sign. It may not be the strongest sign. I've said Scorpio is in the video. I think it's actually Scorpio, but I think Taurus, as far as being resolute and unwavering, unchanging, I think Taurus is the one.
Yeah, Taurus can be like the calm in the eye of the storm.
Because you figure Aquarius, for example, is fixed, but they could be very progressive, and they're about innovation. They like things that are new. Taurus is more stagnant. They just want everything to be constantly the same every day. I mean, I have a Gemini moon, so you would think there'd be there might be a little change here and there in what I do, but I think I'm pretty dominated by the Taurus in terms of doing the consistent thing, the routine, day in and day out. I just believe, and I could tell you from experience.
Yeah, and then because you're a Taurus rising, your Gemini moon is in the second house, so that's like kind of even more Taurus energy. And then you're a Cancer,
right?
So that's a whole other story. Cancers are creatures.
Yeah, my Cancer sun is in the second house, but it's Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it makes sense. You actually, even though you're a Taurus rising, you still have other influences in your chart that gives more of that Taurian quality to your personality. So
right.
That's why it's important to know your whole chart, folks.
Oh,
and
definitely.
Taurus men also, to me, they look at dating and meeting new people sometimes as if it's a chore. So that's why I think navigating their dating lives can be kind of grueling, because they look at it as if it's a chore, as if they really don't want to be bothered with it, and that's why I feel they have the tendency to kind of hop on the first thing smoking, opposed to really trying a few people out to see who actually fits. They are just so eager to just get out of the dating market or get out of the dating pool. So let me just hurry up and hop on the first thing smoking, and she's good enough or he's good enough, and they'll do, and let's just go. So we can get on to the next thing. Like, they're eager to put that dating thing to bed, because having a mate is kind of always the thing that's hovering over a Taurus person's head.
Yeah, that is true. And then, of course, you know, when a Taurus leaves, when the relationship is eradicated, it's ended, it takes them, of course, that time, you know, like what you're kind of saying anyway, time to actually go and get someone and find another person, because it's just the fact that they're so slow and methodical, practically whatever it is they do. So, I mean, once it's not like, you know, some signs can go, they'll date someone if they have a breakup within a few weeks. They're dating someone else. Obviously, Taurus, it's like another, you know, situation entirely. So.
Yeah, well, I'll agree with that. Well, we certainly appreciate you calling in and giving your input as a Taurus man, a Taurus rising man, Edwin. And I'm so excited that you called into our show. For those who don't know, Edwin also is an astrologer. He's a phenomenal astrologer. He's on YouTube under Edwin Learnard. And I have learned so much from him in my astrology career. So he's pretty awesome. So thank you, Edwin. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Edwin. And we always become learned in astrology with Edwin Learned. That's what I say.
Yeah. You have been a friend in my mind for a while, Edwin.
Thank you for the shout out, and and I appreciate that, and I appreciate finally actually being able to talk to you. I thought it was great.
Yes.
All right, then.
Agreed.
Have a good night, then.
Okay, good night.
Okay, thanks again. Take care now. Bye-bye.
All righty, then. So that wraps up our show tonight about Taurus men. We had some good stories. We had a couple callers. Thank you guys so much for calling in, for listening. I don't know if anyone was in the chat. I didn't really see anybody in the chat. But any closing words, App, and then I guess we'll fade out with a song.
No, awesome. I think it was a great show, and make sure you catch the replays if you haven't already for Aries and Pisces men. If you're interested in being an affiliate, definitely hit us up at questions@thecosmiccouncil.com. And, we'll catch you guys next time. And next up is going to be the Aquarius man, right?
Yes, it's going to be the Aquarius man.
Yeah, Aquarius man.
Also, you can contact me. I am under Pisces Moon Goddess, as I said, on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, Snapchat, all of that stuff. And Apollonia, where can you be found?
Oh, yeah. I am the Astrology Lady on YouTube, theastrologylady.com until our Cosmic Council site is up. And the Astrology Lady on Instagram, and it's Miss Astrology Lady on Twitter because the Astrology Lady wouldn't fit. I haven't been Snapchatting yet, but hopefully someday. And tomorrow, the Cosmic Council episode will be Nalo Kickin' Knowledge, his show, our colleague Gemini Brown. So definitely check that out if you're available tomorrow. And thanks so much for listening.
All right, we're going to peace out tonight with Ralph Tresvant, another wonderful Taurus man. He's a stone cold gentleman. All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Stone cold gentleman.